Hey everyone, it's that time. Weather for Weather Geeks time. This is my daily, web-only, really in-depth weather video for those who like a lot of detail. I get into stuff that I don't have time to on TV, so this is the video where we really get into the fine details of not only the short range, but the longer range as well. We're going to focus on the short term, of course, first, and flood warnings are still out up in Trumbull County, not only for Eagle Creek, but for the Mahoning River near Leavittsburg and Warren. These flood warnings probably will be allowed to expire tomorrow, but we'll see on that. A lot of areas in Trumbull County will miss the rain tomorrow, so that is a good thing. As far as the forecast goes, here's the gauge at Leavittsburg. Late this afternoon, up around 11 feet or so. Flood stage is 10 feet, and as you can see, the level is expected to go down below flood stage overnight tonight into the day tomorrow, down to about 7 feet by the end of the day Wednesday, and maybe just hovering a little below 7 feet for the rest of the week. So that's at Leavittsburg. At Warren, the last measurement was just shy of flood stage, about 9 feet or so. Flood stage is 10 feet. We are expecting the Mahoning River at Warren to keep falling back into the 7 to 8 foot range overnight, and then end up kind of down here around 5-6 feet. No problems then for the rest of the week. Now, this forecast is contingent upon the rain situation working out kind of as we expect, but any changes in the amount of rain that we get through the weekend could result in some changes to the forecast for the Mahoning River up at Leavittsburg and Warren. The flood warning for the Mahoning River at Youngstown has been discontinued. Well, if you think this has been a wet start to June, you're absolutely right. Now, this does not even take into account today's numbers. We had another about 0.4 inches worth of rain at the airport today. So now through the first 16 days of June, we're actually now in third place for the third wettest start to June in recorded history here in Youngstown. The wettest back in 1986, close to 8 inches through the first 16 days of June. All right, we'll talk about the rest of the month, what is coming up here in just a minute. Here's the current situation on this Tuesday evening. Boy, it's beautiful outside. Sunshine, we have much lower humidity, and we have, most importantly, dry weather. The rains have pushed off to the south. But it's a great evening out there to get outdoors, take a walk if you can. Temperatures are in the lower and middle 70s. And yes, most importantly, let's look at these dew points, because it feels a lot different out there. Dew points have dropped into the 50s in most spots, even a 48 over at Ravenna. Very refreshing change considering our dew points have been 70 to 75 now for the last few days. And even in the southern part of our viewing area, dew points are lowering to about 60 or so this evening. So before sunset here at about 9 o'clock, if you can, get outdoors. It is absolutely beautiful out there this evening, and this will be kind of a rare treat for us. Now the front that is sinking off to the south is going to kind of park and then slowly lift back north as a warm front tomorrow, bringing with it the chance for some more rain. In the meantime, here's Tropical Storm Bill, which made landfall earlier on today in Texas, and this is going to bring tremendous amounts of rain to the Lone Star State, the eastern half, and then up into parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri as well, and it may have some impacts on our weather as we head towards the weekend. But first things first, let's look at tomorrow's outlook. You know, tomorrow's going to be one of those days, kind of a tough forecast, actually, because some of us are probably going to get wet and some of us will not. Here's tomorrow morning's simulated radar on the NAM, the North American model. We are high and dry at the start of the day. Notice what happens as we go towards the early afternoon. Some of this moisture is going to stream east, and close call tomorrow between rain and no rain across the area. And I kind of, on the news tonight, put I-80 as around the cutoff. Here's 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You can kind of see a little bit of rain going through the area. Most of this is Mahoning County on south. Definitely a better chance for rain south of Route 30 in Ohio, down towards I-70. So kind of between Route 30 and Interstate 70. That's the sweet spot for rain tomorrow. So some good news here. The hardest hit flood-prone areas, kind of up in here, right along or just north of I-80, will not get much, if any, rain during the course of the day tomorrow. Even if it does rain, it should be pretty light. Not expecting any thunder really with this, just general garden variety rain showers for us tomorrow afternoon and heading into tomorrow evening. This will start to push away then. And then what happens on Thursday? That's going to be an interesting day, I think, because instability is going to go back up on Thursday. The day probably starts dry, but as moisture increases here on Thursday, get into the afternoon here, and a cold front approaches from the north and west. Here's our front Thursday afternoon, the atmosphere will be ripe for showers and storms across the area. Storm Prediction Center does have us in the slight risk area on Thursday, meaning that there's a higher than average chance for severe weather this day, so we'll have to fine-tune that forecast, but Thursday afternoon could be a little bit bumpy. So Thursday is not a great day. It'll definitely be a muggy day. But Friday's still looking good. Here's a look at Friday as a ridge of high pressure centered over Michigan builds in from the north. This will ensure that Friday's a good-looking afternoon. It may start cloudy, but Friday should end with sunshine. So it's a good afternoon and evening to mow the grass on Friday if you didn't take care of it today. Hopefully your lawn dries out in time. As we head into the weekend, questionable forecast for the weekend. And why is that? Well, Bill's moisture may or may not have an impact on our weather. I'm leaning towards there being some enhancement in terms of the rain from the remnant low, Bill. That remnant low is kind of in through here midday on Saturday with rains pushing back into Ohio. I think the best chance to get wet Saturday will be the afternoon and the evening. Will it get heavy? Not sure about that. The chance is there that some of this tropical juice starts running into the higher terrain of eastern Ohio and western PA. You get some upsloping going on, and we get a little more moisture squeezed out. So that's on the table, that late Saturday and especially Saturday night could be pretty rainy. It's the last thing we need. That's something we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. Now, what about Sunday? Can we salvage Father's Day, second half of the weekend? You know, it all depends on the speed of the remnants of Bill. Models, usually have a tough time dealing with this in the longer range. But as it stands now, here's the GFS on Sunday. If taken literally, it would suggest that Sunday might start okay. The afternoon might turn a little bit unsettled with showers and some thunderstorms for Father's Day. So lots of forecast details yet to be ironed out for the weekend. We'll start to have more confidence in the weekend forecast, certainly as we go into tomorrow and especially by Thursday, I think. All right, what about the longer range? I want to show you the upper level flow again like I did yesterday. Showing, here's our death ridge over the southeast. It was 100 today in much of the southeast. That ridge will bake the southeast through the end of the week, maybe weakening slightly over the weekend, but not by much, and then watch the ridge rebuild next week, this time a little farther to the west. Now the axis of our ridge is out here across the plain states by next Tuesday. That means the plains are going to be very hot. Will that hot air come east? And I think the answer is yes. Now it may be in modified form, but check out this flow next Thursday, 9 days from now. This is a big ridge of high pressure over the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. If this verifies, we've got a good shot at 90 or above for maybe a day or two during the second half of next week. Beyond that, of course, the details start to get a little fuzzier, but certainly not a cooler than average pattern. I think we're going to stay on the warm side compared to the averages, probably through the first few days of July. Now, most importantly, what about precipitation? Well, first of all, here's the temperature outlook, 7 to 14 days from, this is the last week of June, from the 23rd to the 30th. Looks warmer than average, as I just showed you. What about precipitation? Well, here's the next 10 days, certainly influenced by Bill's moisture. Look at this tongue of above average precipitation from the Gulf Coast through the Ohio Valley. Then as we go towards the end of June and early July, the pattern is not a dry one, but it's less wet anyway, it looks like. It looks like a wet pattern for the Rockies, drying out in the southeast, and then around the Ohio Valley. Not a real strong signal either way. So I do think the next week to 10 days will feature, some pretty healthy amounts of precipitation again. Not what we need, but there is a chance that the pattern changes enough that we start to dry things out a little bit as we head towards the 4th of July here in about 2 or 3 weeks. All right, that is tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks as always for watching. I post these videos each evening, Monday through Thursday. Try to do them in the afternoon when I work on Fridays. In addition, you can always check out my morning quickie videos from home that I like to do to give you a kind of a heads up as to what you can expect for the day. And I usually do kind of a short video early in the afternoon as well. You can find all that stuff on my Facebook and Twitter feeds. EricWFMJ.com is my weather blog. And I hope you have a good Tuesday night.